Hi class. I wanted to briefly go over some of Chapter 4 for you since this is our first body unit of the semester. Up until this point we were covering some of the basic chemistry, the basic cells, the basics of tissues, and now we're getting into our first unit, which is all about the integumentary system, or our skin, and the accessories that go along with our skin. So if you look in your book on page 91, you'll see in the corner there's a little thing called a chapter planner. This chapter planner is a great tool, especially for those of you who this is your first time learning independently, or your first time with an online course. There's a little checklist there, similar to like the unit checklist that I made for you. It's a little more detailed. I think for those of you that are struggling with the reading, maybe struggling with time management, using this little chapter planner is a great way to keep you on track with all of the things that your textbook provides for you. It's a great textbook, has a lot of resources to help you as a student, so that little chapter planner is a great place to start. The next thing I wanted to point out to you in this chapter are the pictures. For instance, the diagrams on page 92 to 93. They're awesome pictures. They go into not only the different layers of the integumentary system itself, epidermis, dermis, hypodermis. It's also showing you the accessory organs like the hair, the nails, all of the vocabulary, all of the things that are talked about in the reading that are defined for you in the reading. They're actually shown to you in the pictures. I remember when I was a student, I would sit down to read my textbook and I would just read the words. I wouldn't actually think about what was being told to me, and I definitely would just breeze over those big pictures. In fact, when I found a page that was mostly pictures, I was like, woohoo, I don't even have to read this page. It's just these two little paragraphs and then I can move on. My goal was just to read the chapter. It wasn't to learn the material. So if your goal coming into Chapter 4, or any chapter from here on, is to learn the chapter, you would be wise to pay attention to the pictures. The pictures are where a lot of the action's happening. Textbook editors put a lot of stress into the pictures in their books. In fact, from edition to edition, it's usually the images that they are editing and updating for your benefit, not the words. So take time and look at these pictures. 92, 93 is a great picture. The picture on page 94 is just a basic diagram showing the levels of the epidermis. What I would do with that picture is recreate it, redraw it. When you're redrawing things, it kind of triggers a different level of thinking in your mind. It's a little bit more challenging, especially if you're like me and you're not artistic at all. Moving on through the chapter, you get through the accessory organs, and then eventually you get to wound repair on page 100 and 101. That diagram there on those pages is actually a process that you could actually sit down and create a flow chart for. So instead of recreating the picture, you're actually taking step 1, basal epithelial layer on the edge detached from the basal membrane, etc., etc. Step 2, adjacent basal cells slide along to create a little sheet. And step 3, and so on and so forth. And what you can actually do with those individual actions, instead of just writing them out on a sheet of paper, I know many of you are fond of index cards, write them out on individual index cards. Mix them up, and then see if you can put those index cards in order. It's a great study tool, especially for a lot of the processes that we're going to be getting into this semester in the physiology aspect. The last little piece is on burns, the difference between first, second, and third degree burns. That's very important as well. All of the individual sections of your book, all of the pull-out sections, what your health provider sees on page 104, that's all stuff that you should be assimilating and putting into your knowledge bank. So I hope this little overview of Chapter 4 helps you. I hope to see some of you tonight in office hours, and I hope your semester is going well so far. Keep me posted if you have any questions. Thanks.